Good morning and welcome to the Center of Light. My name is Sherry Renee and this morning's topic is joy. So one of the spiritual principles that are in play all the time, whether or not we're aware of them or not, is that love is always present. It is that we are swimming in, kind of like what water is to fish. Love is always available. Joy is always available. Wisdom is always available. Peace is always available. Infinite abundance is always available. Now, whether or not and to what degree it comes into our experience is our choice. And I call that like our spiritual threshold, meaning our capacity to bring that into our experience. So the other day I had the experience of, I went to improv at the big theater, the Baltimore Improv Group, and had a blast. Really loved doing improv and playing with this group of people. It was just an absolute joy. And I floated home, went to bed, woke up still feeling really great, and then just went about my normal routine. And somewhere that great feeling started to dip down. And I started to recognize my emotions were a little under par, a little under what I had been experiencing. And I wondered what was going on. Now, knowing that our emotions are a reflection of our thoughts, I went in, recognized what my emotions were, and then was like, what am I thinking about that is causing that emotion? And then realized that I started to go into the thoughts of worrying about something, which of course worry is only projecting our thoughts into the future, which is of course insane because it's not even real. And, then using my creative forces to think of what could happen, which again is insane. So I channeled it back, reined it back in and said, what's going on here? What was my last joyful thought? And realized that my last joyful thought was in reflection of my experience at improv from Monday night. And then I realized that what I had done must have reached my threshold of my capacity to experience joy in its totality. Why would anyone do that? But I realized that somehow I had created my capacity or my threshold by which anything above, if I went beyond the threshold of what I deemed to be an acceptable amount of joy, then I don't know what would happen. In my experience, maybe I wouldn't be accepted, maybe I wouldn't be loved, maybe somebody wouldn't like me. And I can trace that back all the way back to, being a little kid. And I was always like a crazy, like joyful, almost annoying, just a little light kid that everything was joyful and funny. And I laughed a lot and I had a lot of energy. And I can remember like my cooler cousins and my brother, that everyone that was so cool was always really laid back and really cool. And I always wanted to belong. I always wanted to be like them and be like really laid back and like really cool. But that's really not my personality. I'm really just out and kind of crazy and fun. And I laugh really loud. I laugh out loud. Everything about me is pretty loud. And so I realized that I had sometime in my lifetime put a line in the sand and said, Sherry, you're not allowed to go beyond this line of joy. Because when you do, this might happen. You might not be accepted, you might not be loved, whatever it is that I made up, which of course isn't true either. And so what I've recognized that even in my adult life, I keep myself to that threshold. I don't allow sometimes myself to expand into or allow the infinite joy to come into my experience in its totality for whatever it is that I made up as a kid. So I am here as an invitation to all of us to expand our ability to receive the bounty that God has given us, the love, the joy, and the peace, the abundance that is present to us all of the time. And that we must be aware of the threshold that we put on ourselves, the level of acceptance that we have decided. It was just a choice that we've decided, I'm only going to accept this much love. I'm only going to accept this much joy. And so that we can break that boundary and we can let in that is our birthright. We are infinite joy. We are infinite love, and it is always available, ever present, to the degree that we allow it. So the invitation here today is don't pinch off your joy. Don't pinch off your love, your abundance, your peace for any reason. We are here to be that unfoldment of the infinite. and it is forever available to us. Namaste.